Thanks for locking in with 77 Flavors of Chicago. We're your hosts, Dario.
And I'm Sarah, and I hope you're ready to learn with us.
Today we're talking to Geoffrey Baer about his new show that's premiering today, April 14th.
Yeah, buddy.
Touring Chicago's Lakefront. So that's what we're doing. But first, how y'all doing? Good. I'm glad you're doing good. Here's the question, y'all. I'm not alone. You heard the voice.
Finally, I'm back.
Sarah, how are you doing?
Much better this week.
Talk to us. What's going on? What happened?
I hurt my back because I'm over 30.
Come on.
I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what I did. This happened to me 5 years ago, where I just couldn't move, couldn't wake up. I just was in bed with a headache and a backache.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad. Last time I went to urgent care and they gave me a shot, and this time I was like, I don't really want the shot.
You did not want to go.
Yeah, I just took a bunch of medicine and just slept it off. But I couldn't lay down, I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. It was really bad.
Yeah, you was down bad.
I was down bad. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what was going on.
Man,
it was
crazy.
horrific.
Yeah, y'all don't even know, man.
Yeah.
So check it out, y'all. Ever since we've been in this new place, we wear these watchful eye. Now, you know what I mean. We know that's that's superstition, more so people believe in it. But, we had it, and when we moved in, both our shits broke off our wrists, right?
Yeah.
And so it's been oddly enough down ever since. Like little shit been happening, mainly health things, related things, And so guess what we did, y'all? We picked up 2 packs of them off. We not doing this no more. We got backups in case the one breakout fall off. You know what I'm saying? And we good now. Yeah. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident. Also, you know why I'm feeling even more confident is because we kind of slacked off on the social media.
Yeah.
And we back this week. We got some new shit for y'all.
We have some really fun videos.
We do. We got some fun ones for y'all, man. So
I'm really excited.
Yeah, we locked back in. I feel it.
Yeah.
We locked in.
I'm always. I listened to a podcast a few weeks ago that said the new year. I think I mentioned this on here actually. Is the new year starts with the spring, and that is the true new year.
Yeah, we definitely springing.
Because I feel like it's really hard to start new. And I'm not a big what's
calendar fiscal year type of shit.
I don't really I gotta start. If I'm starting something, it has to be at the top of the week. I'm not that kind of person. Time is a man-made construct, so it doesn't matter. But I feel like it's hard to start new habits in the winter when you just want to hunker down and just be cozy. I find it really hard to start new stuff. But with the weather change, getting warmer, and it's easier to get into new habits because the days are longer, you have more energy.
Yeah.
You're waking up with the spring.
Yeah, we up now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the seasons. I like to follow the seasons, and I like to do what the earth does. The earth wakes up in the spring. I like to do that. I like to eat with the seasons.
Okay. Look at you. Getting philosophical and shit.
It's not even philosophical. It's just
I couldn't think of the word. What's the word?
Spiritual?
Introspective. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's how I used to. I mean, that's how I grew up, and it just this hustle mentality is just it's. There's a trend going around on TikTok where it says, I forgot that this is what it's about. Is the text on the video, and the images in the video are people putting a montage of all the things that they love, like being outside or going on bike rides or walking their dog, or so it's just I try to always remind myself that I'm a firm believer that life does not revolve around the hustle. I work to live. I don't live to work. 1,000%. So
good. Come on.
I mean, truly, I feel like when I was younger, my goal in life was to climb the corporate ladder or whatever, but truly I don't care about that anymore. Yeah. I just want to be outside. I just want to hang out with my dog. I want to hang out with you. I want to do creative stuff, make videos. I want to go to my art class and do some workouts and go to the beach. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't care about
Bullshit.
being somebody's manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what life is about for me personally.
You said you say you work hard. You work too hard to push camera. What's the name? Got a line. Fabulous. He got a line. He said, I wasn't meant to do work and drive Camrys. No, shout out to people that drive Camry because I had a Camry. I love Camry. Camry
is
the
best car.
It is.
If you want a car for 15 years, buy a Camry.
At least 15 years.
Yeah.
That bad boy you get a nice little tune up, here and there.
Yeah. You change the oil on time. That shit is lasting
your
forever.
Shit going 2 decades. You know what I'm saying? You like that?
Not with these tariffs, it's not.
Damn. I mean, do we got tariffs or not?
I don't know.
That's the thing. It's like, are they here or they not? Man, let me tell you something. You kind of put me on to Trade War TikTok.
This is funny.
Hey, Trade War TikTok sending it up.
It is hilarious.
It is. It's funny as fuck. I mean,
because all of these Chinese manufacturers are talking about where you can get stuff.
But are these the real things? Is what I want to know.
I don't know. Because
if
it almost doesn't matter. It's just like the concept is funny to me.
Because let me tell you, look, I'm gonna find a link and start buying some of this shit. Look,
just get 5 pairs of Nikes for $100.
Those Tide Pods.
He said it's 5 cents a pod.
A pod?
You get 20 pods for $1.
You trip, man. Look,
Tide is
shaking in their boots.
They're selling 30 pods for $27.
Tide is shaking in their boots right now. They like, bruh, no.
And they said we got pink, we got blue, we got purple.
Yeah. Said what you need. What you trying
so funny.
What you trying to have your clothes smell like?
Listen, I love to escape reality.
Sure do.
A good book, a good podcast, a good TV show.
You know what we need to do?
Some music and go on a walk. I don't want to be in real life.
we need to speaking of not being in real life, we need to get on that Marvel shit. We missed the Captain America movie.
Yeah, we missed
Daredevil. We need to really lock back in with them.
The new movie's coming out next week.
Thunderbolt's coming out, in less than a month.
Yeah.
So we gotta do some catching up.
Listen, this going back into the office thing is really
it's bumming.
It's bumming. It's bumming. It's actually super ghetto to go back in the office.
This shit is kind of ghetto. Now you think about it, like working in an office is ghetto.
It's so dumb.
That shit crazy.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
It's horrible.
I mean, maybe that's why you having back problems and shit. You're allergic to that shit.
I think I just pushed myself too hard the last couple weeks.
You made one YouTube video.
No, it's because I would come back from work and immediately go do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You had that one day where I was like, man, you just.
I just pushed my body too hard, and my body was like, if you're not going to take a break, we're going to make you take one.
That's what she said.
I don't know how, but sure. So today, usually, I take the weekends to like reset. I reset the apartment. I clean. I do all the laundry. I like do all of the little things in detail. Like we're pretty tidy throughout the week, but like my deep clean is on the weekends. And for the first time, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I took like a nail class a couple of years ago, and I've been doing my own nails for a couple of years, and I do my sister's nails. And every time I do her nails is when I do mine, so I never have time to like sit and do like intricate designs on my nails. I was in Dario's studio. That's where I put my nail table at. But I was there for like 4 hours. Like I just took my time. I drew little flowers all over my nails for spring. Yeah, like each nail has a different set of flowers on it.
Yeah, you were in there.
I was. Mm-hmm. That's what she said.
I would say, look. I don't know. I started like.
Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, that's right. Why do we do this every time we have like a? Honestly,
all the time we just notice it when we have an important.
That's very true. Honestly, WTTW have been rocking with us for a little while now. They know what time it is.
Yeah. This was such a fun episode. I interviewed Geoffrey Baer by myself. Dario unfortunately had a little scheduling conflict that he found about last minute, so had to
last minute.
Like we're setting up the cameras and waiting for Geoffrey Baer to get there. Like he was a couple minutes away. And Dario gets a call like, hey,
where you at?
ETA? And he was like, what do you mean?
I said, what? I was like, what you mean? What time I'm going to be there? I'm going, what you said. He's like, no, I was like.
The timing was an hour and a half off.
Yeah.
There was a miscommunication of about an hour and a half. So Dario had to run out, and it was just me and Mr. Baer.
Mr. Baer.
And We had a great conversation.
You did.
I really, first of all, I love all WTTW shows that Geoffrey does. I just feel like his voice is very nostalgic.
Yeah.
You feel like it's very calming. Like it's a calming experience to watch these shows. All of them are super positive. It's always fun to watch. It's basically, we were talking afterwards. I was like, you do what we do, but just like
Calmer.
much higher stakes and like
Much chill, more
way
chill.
more chill, and like on a much larger scale. But it feels, I just love, and I've used his videos sometimes as like a reference, like a resource, if not directly quoting from it when I do my research. I've used it to lead me to other research,
Right.
So
I will say this episode. So Touring Chicago's Lakefront is his new show that's out today. And so, we get pre-screened. We can watch the whole thing beforehand. And so I watched a great portion of it, right? Like a good portion. It's
about an hour.
About an hour. I think I saw 45 minutes of it. Man, look, it took me back, and it's crazy because we've worked with Geoffrey 4 times now, and so none of the allure of me being like, oh shit, like Geoffrey Baer got a new show. I still got all that, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching this one though, and I'm like, I genuinely learn something brand new.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this y'all are going to love this show.
It's a really good one, because I asked him. I was like, people ask us all the time, like, are you not running out of stories? I'm like, there's an infinite number of stories. Like, we're never gonna run out, and I know that for a fact. But he's been doing it since the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, he's been doing it for 30 years. At this point, you're like, okay, but like, are you running out of stories? And
Nope.
he told me, he's like, during this one, he's like, every show I do, I learn something new. And he's like, during this one, I learned the most new information out of everything, just because it was truly, I mean, did you know that at a certain part of the lake, it gets shallow enough that you see that sunken boat? I was like,
Look, let me tell you,
sunken ship.
Don't. That's why I was like, don't ruin it for him, because like, I genuinely was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like, we've been by these places
Literally.
many times.
Yeah.
Like,
It was so cool to,
I mean, I've flown my drone over where he was talking about.
yeah.
I was trying to find that footage and put it in the video. We moved, and I got a million hard drives all over this place, so I don't know where it is. But I was like, bro, I had my drone out over that where he was.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't even know that it had a name.
Me neither. And he didn't either before he filmed the show.
Well, and y'all probably like, what are you talking about? You got to watch his show. You got to watch his show. I don't want to ruin it for you, but like, again, 4 years of us doing the podcast, we've learned so much, right? So sometimes you see things, you be like, oh, I knew about that, and somebody else is telling the story.
Yeah.
This is like the first time in 4 years where I'm like, God damn.
I didn't know any of this.
I'm back to before I even knew Geoffrey Baer. This is crazy. So thank you, WTCW Geoffrey Baer, for sitting down with Sarah, not me, this time. It's crazy. You've seen Geoffrey Baer more than me now, and that's that's wild. Anyway, y'all.
That's my guy.
Officially now.
Actually, here's the thing. Sometimes you interview people and it's like super formal, and we just do it for this. We've never interviewed anyone that we like didn't like afterwards.
Right.
But truly, like, he is the same person on the screen that he is in real life. Like, he is genuinely like a funny, chill, like just super nice person. Like, I could literally, it's just a kind of person that you can sit down and talk to for hours and not be bored.
Yeah. And laugh.
Yeah.
And he got some funny ass jokes, man.
He really does.
He's funny, like smart funny too.
Very.
Like, cause he know everything.
Yeah.
And then he can make it a joke. So
it was very enjoyable for me. I really enjoyed it.
It was. Y'all, Sarah sat down. Y'all gonna hear that conversation last week. I was the one. Sarah was kinda on the episode. This week is flipped.
Yeah.
I'm on the episode, but I'm kinda not. So y'all, we will see you next week with a brand new episode.
Yeah. Check back then. And if you want to watch the interview, like see us, we sat at the South Shore Cultural Center. So You can tune in our YouTube and watch it there if you'd like to see the video portion of this.
Make sure you watch it tonight. It's out.
And if you miss it, then you can. Geoffrey will share where you can find it, but
online
you can download the app, the PBS app, and watch it there. And we'll probably link some stuff in the show notes.
Bio.
So
all in the bio.
Go ahead,
The
bio.
bio.
Show notes.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is.
Until next week, or at least Thursday.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Peace.
I love that we decided to do the cultural center because it's literally on the lake.
Yeah.
Which, because your new show that came out today, which is the day the episode is going to air, is all about the lake.
The lakefront, yes.
We're at the lakefront.
In the lake, I guess you could say the lake.
Yeah, no one's
too.
diving deep into the lake.
Well, we dive a little bit into the lake.
A little. Okay, so tell us a little bit about how the show came about, why the interest in the lake. I feel like you've done so many about the beautiful places in Chicago. Those are my favorite shows.
Oh, thank you.
And I feel like the lake is like a beautiful place, but it's all over.
Yeah, I mean, I always say
it needed its own.
I always say the lake is like our one natural feature in Chicago. You know, it's pretty much a city that's human made.
Right.
And you know, it's a swamp. So really, I mean, the lake is our Rocky Mountains. You know, it's our Grand Canyon. It's the one really spectacular, dramatic natural feature. And I think even if you live in the western suburbs, you know, you still feel some connection or ownership or pride in this is your lake, you know. And so we've done, you know, I've been doing these shows for 30 years on WTTW.
Which is crazy because you look like you're 40.
I've been doing these shows longer than you've been alive. So, and so, you know, early on, we did a lakefront show. It was it was in the late 1990s.
Which is
98. It was 1998.
It changed insanely since then.
So then we did it again in probably 2008, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. You know, right, Chicago's such a dynamic city, things just change so much that, you know, and I change.
Right.
So, you know, and we rerun shows a lot. So after 6 or 8 years, we just can't rerun the show anymore. I have changed, everything's changed.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a programming meeting, one of our programming leaders said, you know, hey, we need to do the lakefront again. You know, people love learning about the Chicago lakefront. This is our program director, Lisa. She said she hasn't aired the old program in years because it's outdated.
Right.
And she'd love to have a lakefront show again. And so what I think we wanted to do this time around was just something different. You know, you don't want to keep recycling the same show over and over again, just like sort of freshening it up.
Right, right.
And so I worked with a producer named Mike West, who's great. And Mike really felt like rather than having it be this sort of sweeping one end to the other tour, where it's almost like skipping a stone across the water, where you just get a little bit, you know, of a very broad or very, very long range. Let's just pick a few good stories and go more deeply into them. Dive deeply, if you don't mind the pun. And that's what we did. And I do things in this show that I have never done before.
I was going to say, you start the show on a commercial flight.
Yes.
Is that real?
No.
Okay.
So,
I'm like,
yeah, I mean,
plane.
we wanted to come up with a beginning of the show that, I mean, almost anybody could relate to. And if you've ever flown into Chicago, and, you know, I suppose most people by this time have flown at some point, and they've flown into Chicago. If you're lucky enough to be coming from the east, you know, you're going. You see the lakefront approaching, and you see this amazing view. If it's nighttime, it's this grid of lights. If it's daytime, it's the beautiful views of downtown Chicago and the sweeping lakefront parks. And we thought people could relate to that. So how about we start on an airplane?
Yeah. I want to know who took the picture.
I did.
Those were
mine.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Mike originally was like, okay, maybe we can get United Airlines or somebody to agree to like let us just get on a plane and film out the window. And you know, Mike and I are both it's not our first rodeo in television. We've been doing this a long time, and both of us are like, yeah, that's going to give us like 30 seconds to make the shot that we need to get, which is ridiculous. So let's try to figure out how we can do it on a parked airplane. So United Airlines, thank you, United Airlines, gave us they figured out there was a flight that would come in, and then the plane would sit at the gate for about 4 hours before it would go out again. And so after they'd cleaned up the plane and everything, they let us on board. And the director of photography, Brendan Walsh, is very clever in the way he framed it, so you can't tell that I'm not flying. He's shot it at sort of a low angle, so you only see sky out the window. And he kind of did it handheld, and he moved around a little bit, so it felt like the plane was moving. And then I had flown into Chicago. I don't remember where I went, but I had flown into Chicago a few months before this, and I had actually taken some cell phone pictures out the window, just because I love that view.
You probably have like hundreds of those in your phone at this point.
I kind of do, yeah. And so I showed them to the producer, Mike, and I said, so in the film, I look like I'm sitting on an airplane, and then you see me hold up my cell phone camera and take a picture, and then we cut to those pictures. And it's just I actually just watched the show today at a screening, and it's quite believable.
I thought you were on a flight. Yeah. I was like, wow, the budget for this one had to be crazy.
And you should have seen the setup. I mean, because when we're filming, we've got an audio person and a lighting director, and we had a bunch of lights and stuff. You can't see any of that, obviously, in the shot. But if you zoomed back, you could see it was a big setup on the plane, which we could never have done if we were on a real plane flying. Well, it was a real plane, but if we were on a real flight, we never could have done that. We would have, the cameraman would have just been sitting in a seat praying that he would get a good shot in the 15 seconds he had to get it.
Been horrible. Yeah, that's so interesting. I really like that it's the lake because, believe it or not, my best friend of like 15 years came to visit me in Chicago 4 years ago. And she was shocked. I was like, oh, let's go to the beach. She was like, you have beaches? Mm-hmm. She's from Seattle. Like, she's not from a different country. Like, she's lived here her whole life. She was shocked that we have beaches. Do you ever experience that? Do you ever feel like people outside of the Midwest maybe don't realize that we have a huge lakefront?
I think it's kind of common, actually. Yeah. I think most people... if you're not from Chicago, you probably you may not even know that Chicago is on a lake. Mm-hmm. You've heard of Chicago, but you may not even know that it's on a lake. And if you do, and you hear lake, you picture like that little lake where you go for a vacation on your canoe.
You're canoeing,
right? And people are always saying they come to Chicago and they look out there and like, you can't see the other side,
I'm like, the lake is the type of water, not the size of the water.
Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me. I think people are often very surprised when they come and they see that we're on this huge body of water. Mm-hmm. Some people say, oh, it's like an ocean. I don't think it is like an ocean. Oceans have a whole different feeling.
And it's very scary. I'm not like an open body of water person. I cannot. I'll go like to where I can swim. I love swimming, but it has to hit like maybe my belly button, and then I'm like, we're out, because the second I feel like I can't see under me, it's just too scary.
And oceans have that, there's kind of a roar to the sound of the surf in an ocean, and there's that sort of salty smell. You don't really, it's very different being on a lake.
Yeah. So along the lake, what have been some of your favorite stops from the
Well, so really like the new things, the things I'd never done before. I go fishing. I've actually never in my life, I mean, maybe when I was a little kid, I might have gone fishing once or twice on like a pond or something, but I've never really, ever really gone fishing, like really fishing.
Did you enjoy it? That seems...
It was very interesting feeling. Well, first of all, I love being out on the water, and just the whole experience of like feeling the fish fighting you.
Oh, you caught something?
Oh, we caught a whole bunch of fish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, well, we're not going to catch any fish, are we? And this charter boat captain was like, I've never, ever gone out and not brought back fish. So I'm like, always the first time. But, I mean, we must have caught 12 or 14 fish.
Wow.
And they are big fish.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
then
like,
why I don't go in open water.
they're not dangerous fish.
Doesn't matter.
But they're big. They're like, I don't know, if you're only listening on the radio, it's about, or on the podcast, maybe 18,
like 18 inches.
Yeah, I mean, they were big fish. They were salmon, different kinds of salmon. I can't remember the kinds. And Pacific salmon and lake trout. And the trout are really big.
Right.
And we must have caught 12 or 14 fish.
Wow.
And the first one I caught, this thing is like fighting for its life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kill it. And I'm not a hunter.
Right.
I'm not. The thing is, I eat fish.
Right.
I eat meat.
You're like, I don't need to see
Someone else
how
killed
got
it.
here.
Yeah. I mean, what right do I have to not to feel guilty about this when
Right.
when if somebody else kills it, I eat it.
Right.
So, and the guy who was the first mate and kind of the teacher said, this is the most sustainable way to eat fish, because what's unsustainable is commercial fishing,
Right.
long lining, netting. They catch a lot of other creatures that just die, that
Right.
they're not even trying to catch. So, I guess, if I eat fish, I might as well not be guilty about catching one.
Yeah.
But it was a living creature, and I killed it, so that felt a little strange. The thing to know, too, about Lake Michigan fishing is there are trace contaminants in the lake. And so scientific community really advises that there are certain limits on the amount of meals of Lake Michigan fish that you should eat per week or per month. Forget what it is. There's if it's salmon, you should only have one meal per week. If it's trout, maybe one per month. Depends on the size and the age of the fish, how much mercury or whatever is accumulated in it. So you can't just go out there and catch up all you want and eat all you want. There's a certain amount of caution that you have to have.
Interesting. I didn't think, just because I think of it as like enclosed by land at some point, that there wouldn't be contaminants, but
well, I mean, there's steel mills
right.
and all kinds of
industrial stuff happening
sites.
around.
Yeah. And it's better, but
Right.
but it's we don't have the same kind of discharge into the lake that we used to. But there's still contaminants
Right.
in the lake. Yeah.
What's one more thing that you
Well,
enjoyed?
here at South Shore Cultural Center, where we are, we went to a rodeo.
Oh.
And it really was my first rodeo.
Really?
It was right. Where was it? It was kind of out that way.
It was outdoors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have. I don't know for sure, but I believe they've always had stables here, or at least since the Chicago Police have their
Right.
equestrian unit here. So there's a paddock and there are stables. I don't know about stables, but there's a paddock for horses, and this wonderful guy, Murdoch, the man with no first name.
Yep.
Has been running. He's an African American guy, older gentleman, who loved horseback riding when he was young. He grew up in the area. He learned to ride in the Chicago public parks, and then after he went away to the military and came back, all the equestrian centers had been closed, and he vowed to continue to teach young people, and particularly young people of color, and particularly African American kids, city kids,
Right.
Horseback riding skills. And these kids were unbelievable. I mean, you could not believe how fast these horses run. And they do barrel racing, and they do relays, and the horses cut these sharp turns. And you look at a horse and you just think, like, how does that horse not break its ankle, taking those sharp turns?
And it's heavy and
I mean, it was really something to watch. And these kids were little kids, and it was amazing to watch them just tearing up the paddock.
What a cool access to an activity that in the city you probably don't get to experience
Right.
ever. I mean, where would you would have to go leave the city to learn, and it's like a luxury experience that you then have to pay. So that's so incredible. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's called Broken Arrow Riding Club. It's really,
Wow.
really phenomenal.
Wow.
And I mean, the other thing about this place where we're sitting right now, at South Shore Cultural Center, is it was a country club. It was
Right.
South Shore Country Club.
And black people
Whites
couldn't even
only.
come in. Yeah.
I mean, white Gentiles only.
Yeah.
And which was very stupid because first the neighborhood became predominantly Jewish.
Right.
No Jews allowed. Then it
Right.
became predominantly black, no blacks allowed.
Yeah.
And so obviously, not surprisingly, the club went out of business.
Right.
And now it's this public park where, Barack and Michelle Obama had their wedding reception,
Yeah.
maybe in this room, I think maybe in the
think-
room down the hall.
I think they said it was this room, and then the security guard that checked us in told us that she had her book. When her book came out,
Oh.
it was the room next door that
about
she had her
that?
event. And then anytime they're in the city, they like to come here and
Yeah.
kind of visit, which is so special. I mean, it's such a beautiful park, and I love that a lot of the lakefront is parks. I mean, you have access to public art on the trail. You have obviously access to park activities like grass. Children's activity. So there's so much to do that I feel like other than just going to a beach, it's not all fully
Right. Well, and
just
then
beach.
if you're talking about the whole lakefront, the lakefront trail, where you have
Right.
running. Then they've now created a part that's a running trail and a part is a riding for bikes.
Which always makes me really nervous. I'm like, am I in the which lane am I in?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I love that. So what's your hope for people to learn from this show or this film? What are you hoping that people get to learn about?
Well, I
the
hope
lake?
they will come to value and appreciate the lake. And as I say, I mean, it is our one natural feature, and really, in a big, dense urban metropolis, to be able to go not very far. I mean, if you're in a lakefront ward, you're really close. But even if you're in one of the western wards or in the western suburbs, you can pretty quickly get to the lakefront.
And most buses get all the way. If you're going east-west, they travel all the way to the lakefront.
And you can literally, free yourself from the density and the hustle and bustle and renew your spirit, by just looking out there at
Right.
that vast expanse of water.
Yeah.
I also hope that people will learn to, or will think about being good stewards of our lake, because we draw our not just inspiration, but our water from the lake.
Yes.
And people probably don't or may not know this, but it's a one-way system. The water that we pull out of the lake, we don't put back in because of the hydrology and the sort of man-made way we've reconfigured things in the region, including reversing the Chicago River. Every drop of water that you use to brush your teeth and or flush your toilet and goes down the drain ends up in the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
It doesn't go back into the lake. So even though some say it's the largest body of fresh water in the world, the Great Lakes, it's not infinite.
Right.
And so we need to think about being good stewards, about, people have their downspout connected to the sewer. Disconnect it. Just let your rainwater go soak into the backyard, Think about permeable paving so that rainwater doesn't go down the sewer and right to the Gulf of Mexico and overwhelming our water treatment plants. So I think I would hope people may start to feel a little more responsibility for being good stewards of our lake.
I love that. And for people that didn't catch the show today, the day that it aired, where can they watch it?
Oh, well, it's always online. We have a phenomenal website that goes along with this show and with all of our shows. This one has you can watch the show on the website or it'll be on YouTube. We have a YouTube, WTTW has a YouTube channel. It can also be watched on the PBS app that's called Passport, or there's a component of it that sometimes people know as Passport, but it's the PBS app for streaming. But on the website, we've got a kind of self-guided tour of the lakefront that you can do. There's an amazing web-exclusive video that I just saw today that Mike West produced about people who go swimming in, all winter long in the lake. And
I see them.
yeah,
I'm
you
like
do?
the one guy. I see him every winter.
It's unbelievable. I
It
mean,
is.
These people put on these wetsuits and you watch them go swimming, and this guy comes out of the water holding on to a big chunk of ice.
Right.
Which he just breaks up and says, yeah, there was a lot of ice out there today. I mean, it's like you can't stop watching.
Yeah.
It's like amazing. And those are just two of the many things that we have on the website. That's wttw.com/lakefront.
Yeah, I will make sure to link everything in the description of this video, or if you're listening to the audio, in the notes of the show. So I'm so excited. I've only seen little snippets of it in preparation for our conversation today, but I'm really excited to watch the entirety of it. I love the lake. I love to observe the lake from a distance. I respect its magnitude. I don't want to be in it, but I'll look at it from afar. And I'm actually going to probably go take a walk after our conversation here, because it looks like a beautiful day today.
Why
it's
not?
a little gloomy, but I like it. I like a little gloomy lake. So thank you so much for hanging
my
out with me
pleasure.
today and talking about this. And we'll back to whatever we were just doing.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.